I thought that it would be fun today, since it's been kind of a stressful couple of weeks, and it sounds like it's going to get even more stressful. This video, or this YouTube channel, this half an hour or so, is a place for us crocheters, and even if you don't crochet, you're still welcome to come and watch, to get away from the world and the cares and the struggles and the stress, and just have some fun for about 30 minutes. So, I'm Sara Sach, and welcome to Coffee and Crochet with Sara. And like my cup says, I'm stressed, I'm blessed, and a little coffee obsessed. Or maybe a lot coffee obsessed. Well, if you're here with me now, let's go ahead and clink in. I always say clinkety, clink, 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 because there's a bunch of us here and we're going to have some fun today. And remember, even though there's stress going on in the world, it's okay to laugh a little bit and to have a little fun and to be a little bit lighthearted for just a few minutes. All right? Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a fun and silly Christmas ornament. And this is what we're going to make. Are you ready? It's a 2020 what's left on the toilet paper roll ornament. I'm calling this, Mom, where's the toilet paper? We're going to crochet it, put it together. We're going to embroidery 2020 on there, add some silly buttons, and a hanger. And you'll notice it's hanging crooked, and that's on purpose because we want it to be just a little bit silly. I think these are fun, and I think everybody is going, in my family and friends, are going to get one of these along with their Christmas present this year. Let's take a close look at it. Isn't that cute? All right, we'll talk about all the things you'll need for it in just a minute, just as soon as everybody else gets here. I want to give a chance for everybody to get here before we start our project. Now, make sure you say hello to everybody that's here. A lot of times when I'm watching the names come by and I see names that I recognize, it makes me so happy. And then when I see names that I haven't seen in a while, that maybe haven't been able to tune in, that makes me happy. And then when I see new names pop in, that makes me happy too. And I try to watch, I try to look for comments and questions as we go along. So if you see me turn my head, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking over at the comments and the questions. All right, now another thing to remember. When we do our Crochet Togethers live, the only place that you can find it is either on the video or on the blog. Now, when this gets sent over to YouTube, because you know I always put my lives over on YouTube as well, there'll be a link underneath that video that will show you where the written pattern is if you want the written pattern and instructions. So it's going to be on the blog. I don't ever put the stuff we do together because I kind of feel like it's kind of our stuff. Y'all are my peeps and I'm your peepette maybe. I don't know. No, I'm just one of the peeps. Anywho, so just a reminder, if you want to make sure that you get on Tuesdays, I send out a video, a YouTube. Okay, let's start over. On Tuesdays, I send out a blog that I call my newsletter. And on that blog, you'll find the links to all the patterns and videos that we did that week, as well as if we did one live, and this information that we talked about on the video. The way you can get that sent to you, to your email address, is if you go to the blog. Let me clear my throat real quick. I took a sinus pill to dry me up this morning. I think it overdid. So anywho, on that blog over on the side, there's a little box and it says follow by email. And if you put your email address in that box, I don't get your email address. It goes straight to the service, and then they send out an email on Tuesdays with all the information that we talked about. So I just wanted to remind you that I know I've mentioned it in the past, and I don't have it pulled up on my iPad today, but I have pulled it up in the past. So you can find that because I always post the blog as well on our Facebook page also. So you can probably just scroll through after a bit after we're done here and find that link as well. All right, are you ready to do our crochet together? I'm so excited about this because I want us to do something fun and silly. I see lots of wonderful names that I recognize. I'm so glad you're all here. All right, are you ready? All right, let's clink over. Now, I have lots of stuff here. Let me move my coffee cup and make sure that there isn't anything in our way and that my notes are here. This is what we're going to make. This is a what's left on the toilet paper roll when your son or daughter's done in there, or your husband and they haven't filled, and sometimes myself, haven't filled the toilet paper roll. And that's why I called it, Mom, where's the toilet paper? All right, so to make this, you're going to need just a little bit of a beige color to make the toilet paper roll itself. You'll need some white to make the toilet paper. You'll need a little bit of a gray or whatever color you'd like to make your hanger. And then I did the embroidery on this one in green, but I'm going to do the one today in a bright red because although I like this, I think the red will stand out just a little bit better. All right, and then you can choose some buttons. I've got just a pile here of some different buttons that you can use. My husband told me under no circumstances am I allowed to put an angel on this ornament. So let's get rid of those two. He said it would be completely inappropriate. All right, now you'll also notice that I have this little tube of E6000. When I'm doing something like this and it has buttons like a buttonhole like this gingerbread boy, sometimes I'll sew that on, but sometimes I'll just use a little bit of this E6000. You can also use a hot glue. And that's because this isn't something that's going to go in the laundry. It's going to be hanging inside for a decoration. And so the E6000 or hot glue is just fine for adding your decorations. And some of these, like this Christmas tree, I'm going to use this one today. It's not a button. And the best place to find a lot of these little things like this is over in your scrapbooking department. They have lots of little things like this for scrapbooking. They're not buttons, they're just little extra things that you can use for this, like this word jingle. Isn't that cute? And so you can just kind of decide what you want to put on for your decorations if you want to. You don't have to. I think it just adds a little silliness to it. One really neat thing about doing it this way is it automatically has a little curl here and it makes it look like a toilet paper roll. All right, so let's move these out of the way. We're going to be stitching with an H hook today, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You do need your needle and a pair of scissors. All right, so I'm going to move some of these things out of our way and then we can get started. All right, I'm going to start with this this beigey colored. I think it's called almond, and I do have glitter on my counter today, and I'll explain that why a little farther on the video, some things I want to show you. All right, so we're going to start with our beigey color, which is our center here. We're going to make our slip knot, and we're going to chain 13 chains. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now I do suggest, as I always do when making a chain, that you don't chain too tightly because you don't want it to be all puckered up on the end. All right, we're going to begin stitching a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We don't count the loop on our hook. There's one, and then here's the second one. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. That's our single crochet. And we'll place a single crochet in each of those chains across. Now, we chained 13. We began in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to have 12 single crochets. And this whole portion that we're single crocheting is all done in single crochets. Alrighty, one more. Whoops, my yarn jumped out of my bowl there. There we go. We're going to chain one, and our chain one does not count as a stitch, and turn. And then we're going to single crochet, starting in that first stitch and in each stitch across. So we'll stitch a single crochet in each single crochet. And so again, we'll have 12 single crochets. And just a reminder, when we do our crochet togethers, when we're doing them live, I will go just a smidge faster than when I'm doing a regular tutorial. So what you can do, if I'm going too fast for you, you can, when it goes over to YouTube, go over to YouTube and you're able to slow the video down as well as pause it where needed. And also, if you're watching this later on Facebook, you can always pause it where needed. All right, chain one and turn. And so we're going to do 2 more rows with our beige, stitching 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across. And we're starting with the beige because this is going to be the center portion or the cardboard portion that is our toilet paper roll. I feel weird saying toilet paper on camera. It's a necessity of life. It is. All right, chain 1 and turn. Some more yarn out here, and just 1 more row of 1 single crochet in each single crochet across. So we'll have stitched 4 rows of the beige. This is the yarn that I'm using. I don't think I mentioned this. I want to make sure I do. I'm using all medium weight number 4 yarns, and these are all acrylic. You can use cotton if you want to, or any blend that you have in your yarn stash. This pattern calls for medium weight number 4. Okay, I wanted to make sure I said that. All right, so now we have 4 rows of our beige, which is our center for our cardboard. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. We're done with our beige, and we're going to bring in our white. I will tell you, the first one I did with this, I used kind of an off-white color. Did not like the way it looked. It made it look like the toilet paper was dingy, and I didn't care for that. Nobody wants dingy toilet paper, right? All right, so I brought my white in, and I'm going to go ahead and do my chain 1. And I'm going to do, I do this little, I don't know if it's called a stay knot or not, but it's what I do. I just flip it through and go like that. And then I can come back in and weave that in later. All right, so chain 1 and turn. And I am going to stitch over those tails of yarn for a couple of stitches. And that's just going to help it and make it easier for me to weave it in later. All right, so I'm going to hold it across. I'm going to go in my first stitch and stitch my single crochet. And I'm stitching over those 2 tails of yarn. I did 2 or 3. I'll do 1 more, making sure I go over that. And then I'll just put it down, then I can weave it in later. All right, so now I'm going to be using my white, stitching 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across. And your stitch count will remain the same. You'll have 12 single crochets on each row. Chain 1 and turn. And repeat. 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across. Chain 1 and turn. And so what you'll do is you'll continue to repeat 1 single crochet in each single crochet across, chain 1 and turn until you have a total of 30 rows. And I'm just not going to do all 30 of those rows. That'll take too much time. And so I have one already here. I have 4 rows of the beige. Oops, I'm off camera there. 4 rows of the beige, and then I have the remainder done up in my white. And I have a total of 30 rows. And let me give you a hint on how to count your rows. When you look, and when you're just doing regular single crochet stitches, you'll see there's a line right there. Well, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. You can count those by twos by following that indentation. Just a little hint that I learned. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to need a piece of the white. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that so I can use this piece of white. And we're going to need our needle. So we'll thread that onto our needle. And you're going to need about a 12-inch, maybe more. I like to have more than I need. I'd rather cut off the end if I have too much yarn than not have enough. All right, so we're going to turn it. We're going to roll this up. And then we're going to continue to roll until we get about that much. I'm going to say that's about, let's measure. Let's make sure we can get us a good count here. Till we have about 3 inches. I was going to say 4. I would have been wrong. Till we have about 3 inches hanging here. Push my ends in a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take this and this yarn, and we're going to make a stitch right here. Turn it up so you can see. Because we want that to hold. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do what I call basting stitches. We're going to go in and out, making sure that we go in that underneath so that it holds under here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing over here. Make a couple of stitches, and then I'm just going to go in and out and pull that through. Okay, okay, need my scissors. We're going to cut that one, and then we're going to take this tail. I probably could have left a little longer tail on that end, but we just want to bring it in and do the same thing. Bring it in and out. And our yarn matches, and it's on the back side of our ornament. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cut that. And so now we have a leftover ornament and toilet paper. And see how that edge curls up? I like it. It goes really good with what we're doing. All right, so the next thing we want to do is grab our gray. I'm using gray because it reminds me of a hanger that you hang a Christmas ornament at. But you can use whatever color that you want for your ornament. We're going to need a little bit at the end. So I'm going to leave about 6 or 8 inches because we're going to need it to attach. All right, so then we'll make our slip knot, and we're going to chain. Let me look at my notes. We're going to chain 25 chains. Make sure we get that right. All right. Now, this chain, I recommend you do chain a little bit tighter. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get some more yarn here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And again, we want to make sure that we leave a little bit for attaching. All right, so let's tie this off. And now we're just going to attach it to both ends. So we'll thread that on. We'll go right here, and you'll notice I'm going to go in a little bit of that brown. I just want to have a little bit, or beige, to grab onto, because I want that to stay nice and snug. All right, and then I'm going to take this and tie a knot. I know, in crochet you should never tie knots. Pull that tight and clip. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Go in that beige just a little bit. There we go. Stitch a couple of loops. And tie a knot. Nice and snug. And if you want to add a drop of glue to that knot, you certainly can. All right, now, what we want to do with this is we don't want this to hang up straight unless you just want it to. I want it to hang a little bit crooked, and so I put my knot over here. I'm going to pull a little bit. This is probably the hardest part of this whole thing, getting that loop through. There we go. And see how it's kind of over on the side? I'm going to pull it over just a little. That way, when it hangs, it's going to hang a little bit cockeyed. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to embroidery on the 2020. And I did it in such a way that it's super easy. All right. There are little diamonds and little Z's, really. And I want to use this red. And I don't think I'm going to need quite that much, so I'm going to cut that. All right. Now, we're going to go in just a little. We want to make sure we're up. So we're going to go up about 3 rows. And we're going to go in right here. We're just going to make that little Z. Or not Z. This one's the diamond. It's an O. We're trying to make it look like an O. All right. Now, we'll just come down here. There's our O. I'm going to go over one. There we go. All right. So now we're going to make this little Z. So we'll go across. There we go. All right, so there is the little Z that looks like our 2. All right, so now we'll make another diamond. Luckily, this number wasn't a really tricky number. All right, there's our next O. I guess we can go across this way. I try to come up with the least amount of leftover on the back because unfortunately there isn't any way to hide that unless you want to cover it with something. All right. If you're really good at doing like the puff paint, you could always paint this on as well. Okay, so that's something to think about also. And we'll just weave this in back here. And again, you can always put a little dot of glue on there if you're afraid that's not going to hold. And we'll go ahead and do this one. You know, another thing I just thought about are those little beads that are numbers and letters. You could always glue those on or even sew those on, and that would be super fun too. And so there's lots of different ways that you can do that. I wanted it to be just a little bit, I guess rough would be a good way of putting it. All right, so now we need to embellish a little bit, and I am going to use my E6000. I think I'm going to use a Christmas tree up here and maybe use one of these over here. Maybe I won't use a green one. I think I'll use a red one. All right, and so you can decorate it however that you want. The E6000 is great, but you can also use hot glue, or you can also use fabric glue, but that's going to take a little bit longer to dry. And just push that on there. And of course, you can put as many buttons as you want to. That's totally up to you. All right, so there is our silly Mom, where's the toilet paper? Christmas ornament. And I absolutely love these. All right, family and friends, you're going to be getting one of these. I just think they're so much fun. And the truth is there's a lot of different things you can do with them. If you want it to be a longer roll of toilet paper, just do as many rolls as you want and make it bigger and thicker. I wanted it not to be too heavy, so if someone did want to hang it on their Christmas tree, they could. All right, so I hope everyone had fun with that. And like I said, if I went a little too fast, you can always. Oh, Dawn says emojis would be cute. You are right. Wouldn't it be funny to get the poo-poo emoji? I can't believe I said that on video. Let's just forget I even said that. You could put a little bit of glitter on it just to Christmas it up a little bit, or maybe put a frowny face. Okay, I have seen the emoji buttons, and I'm telling you, the best buttons with all the fun, not just Christmas and different holidays, but all the, like the emojis. Like I get my dog bone buttons there and my little dog paws over in the scrapbooking section. That's where the best ones are. You can use a fabric pin. That's true. You can. The only thing is you want to make sure that it's not going to seep into the yarn. That's why I said the puff paint, it'll stick up just a little bit. You could do that as well. I like doing it with the yarn because it kind of makes it a little more yarny. But there are lots of ways. Okay, now, new assignment. I want to see your creativity. Is that how you say that? Or creativity? And post the pictures of your Mom, where's the toilet paper? Christmas ornament. I just thought this would be so much fun to do together and just have some fun with it. Speaking of fun, I went to Michael's this week because I was looking for some Thanksgiving crafts to do with my granddaughter, because a lot of you have asked about how my son's doing. I know a lot of you know or don't know, he had a Jeep accident and broke his back. But he's doing really, really well. He has to wear this big, cumbersome brace, and sometimes he has achy days, and sometimes he hurts like crazy, and sometimes he feels really good. So, but he's doing really well. He seems to be, heading towards mending. But I've had my granddaughter just a little bit because I've been doing a lot of work over in his shop. And so I was trying to come up with some Thanksgiving crafts to do with my granddaughter. Well, Michael's didn't have hardly anything left for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, come on, people. Thanksgiving is still a holiday. And so I thought, well, let me grab a drink real quick so I don't get dry. So I went into Michael's, like I said, and I found these two really cool Christmas ornaments. This is why I have glitter all over my table. I found this coffee cup. Is that not the cutest thing you ever did see? And then I found a yarn basket that says, I love yarn. Another glitter crazy thing, but I love it. It does have knitting needles, but that's okay because it's a basket of yarn. And so what I thought is coffee and crochet. Isn't that cute? And right now Michael's has all their Christmas stuff, I think 40% off. And so these were originally, I want to say $9.97. So basically you're getting 40% off. So you're getting about $5, $5.50, $6. And they're worth it because they're super cute. They're glass. So be very careful. And they will get glitter all over your house. So I told my granddaughter I want to get one of the trees out this week and go ahead and get up my, what I call yarny Christmas tree. I have one Christmas tree that's just all yarn, crochet, different types of ornaments. And then I can put those on there as well. Anyway, I thought you'd like to see those. Michael's has them. And they also, they have several different kinds of coffee cups. And they also have ones that say tea on them. Someone asked me about that. I know, Kimberly, she says she's surprised Michael's didn't have any Thanksgiving crafts. They had a few, but they were just completely picked over. And we like to do the ones where you like glue the feathers on the turkey or stuff like that. But I mean, we still had a lot of fun. She had never made a turkey with her hand before. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And we do this thing where we call 4-color challenge. And so we close our eyes and we each pick 4 markers out of my marker container. And then we have to use those 4 colors to color with. And so we had a whole lot of fun. So I have 3 Christmas trees out already. Awesome. That's awesome. Everybody in our neighborhood is decorating early. And I do like that because it's just been, with COVID and everything, just kind of a downer year, And so it's great. No matter what happens, Let's still celebrate family and Christmas and holidays and everything, and still put up the Christmas ornaments and still have fun and remember to laugh, like I said. So don't forget, you have an assignment, and when I give you an assignment, I expect it to be done, okay? Feel free to post your pics over in the PPD, Puppy Love Crochet group on Facebook, okay? I get people all the time asking, where do I post my pictures to? Just put in your search bar on Facebook, PPD, Puppy Love Crochet group, and it will come right up. Now, you will have to answer a couple of questions like, do you like yarn? Do you like crochet? Stuff like that. Okay, but I love to see the things that you make, and especially when I give you an assignment. All right, let's talk about what we did this week. I know we're going a little long, but let's go ahead and do this real quick. We did the Tommy Turkey. This is a doily and a placemat. You can make it with the eyes or not. He's a little bit creepy. He's mad because everybody's forgetting Thanksgiving. That's why he has a mad face. I love him. He's lots of fun. The other thing we did was the Veterans Lap Blanket. And it was kind of neat how this came about. A friend of mine whose son was injured as a Marine asked me if I had a pattern for a lap blanket that was more than just rows of double crochet in red, white, and blue. And she didn't want a flag. He has a big flag blanket. And so I designed this one, and she absolutely loves it. And these are neat because you can make them in any color that you want. You don't have to stripe it. You can do it all on a solid. And I give you instructions on the blog of how to make it wider and how to make it longer. And so it doesn't have to be a lap blanket even. You can make it any size you want to. But she wanted it in red, white, and blue. And so that's what we did. And it's really pretty. And I really love the stitches that we used. It turned out really nice. And I love it too. Okay, the other thing we did was yesterday, we did what I call the gift stocking. And I love this idea because this is a time of year we're all doing things to give as gifts. And this measures about 10 inches long. And so it's a nice size stocking to fill with goodies to give as a gift. Or you can use it as a regular stocking. It's a little bit thicker through here than your average stocking. And that's so you can get stuff inside. You can fit a pack of socks or a pack of underpants or, you know, okay. The reason I say this is, no, you don't have to give socks and underpants for Christmas. But when you're doing donations, kids love toys. They do. But you know what? Sometimes when you're giving a donation to an adult, what they really need is a nice pair of underpants or a nice pair of fluffy socks or maybe a scarf and a hat or something like that. And you want to give it to them in something that's more than just, you know, like a paper bag or a Walmart sack, you know. And so you can get in your yarn stash and you can make these in any colors that you want to or combination of colors and use them to give away gifts with. Fill them with candy and toys for the kids. Fill them with necessities for the adults, or just hang them around your house. It's a really easy pattern. And you can see this one I did with the frosted yarn. This one I did with the Hirschner's peppermint yarn that I showed you last week. And this one is just blue in this sort of speckly color. So I did it this way because I want you to see they're good for boys and girls and men and women and anybody you want to give a gift to. And you can make it with your leftover yarn stash. Get in your yarns, your medium weight number 4 yarns, striping, variegated, solids, it doesn't matter, and make some really pretty ones. If you're making them for a bunch of little girls, say, or little boys, find out what their favorite colors are, or make them all blue and pink and yellow or not. You know, just get in, use up your yarn stash, and make something that people will love. And that's kind of the purpose behind these. Now, if you're looking for other stockings, I do have several other on YouTube and in my Ravelry shop patterns that you can use as well. The other thing about these is they do measure only 10 inches long, but if you want this center section to be longer, just continue to repeat, because it's a repeat of 2 different rows that makes that kind of look like a cable, which it's not a cable, but it's done just doing the front post on every other row back and forth, and it looks like a cable. And what you can do if you want to make it longer, just do more rows. All right? And so that's what we did this week. I know we went a little bit longer than usual, but we made a fun ornament, and I love them. And they're super cute. The other thing I wanted to mention about this E6000, I buy a pack of, I think, 4 or 5 of these when I go to Lowe's. Because I know someone's going to ask me, where do you find these? And they're just over by the super glue aisle, okay? Yeah, but you can find these at most of your craft stores. I've never found them at Hobby Lobby. I found them at Joann's, at Walmart, and at Lowe's. So probably Home Depot would have it too. But it's my favorite glue. I will use this over hot glue now. All right. So the last thing I want to remind you is don't forget about the November giveaway. You have 1 more week to enter, and you need to enter just by commenting on last week's live video, either on Facebook or on YouTube. And then next week, we're going to announce the winner. And I haven't received the Hirschner's box yet. I guess they haven't sent out the second wave yet. And so when they do, you all will be the first to know. All righty, so that's a lot of information and a lot of fun. And remember to laugh and have a good time and enjoy the seasons that we're heading into, even though it is going to be kind of cold. All righty, so I'll see you all next week and have a fantastic week.